This is Jack White with another Monday morning message from your Capital District Growth Team. This one for September the 7th, 2009. This was supposed to be the fifth and final message in a series I've been doing on club revitalization. Today, in fact, I plan to talk about the need for our clubs to set goals before their years begin in conjunction with the lieutenant governors, and then for those lieutenant governors to help the clubs monitor their progress in meeting the goals. Instead, I want to use this last message that I'll be doing alone with no interview to talk about no man's land. When I was elected to the first class of district trustees and took office in 2005, I went online and looked at a map of the 8 regions. Ours, which is now called the Southwest Virginia region, extended from Grundy, Haysai, and Wise on the Kentucky border east to the small city of Emporia, which is on I-95, south of Richmond in a region called South Side, Virginia. The east-west length of that area is 350 miles, and it takes almost 7 hours to drive from one end to the other. By comparison, the drive from Virginia Beach in the southeastern corner of our district to Baltimore near the northeast corner, well, that is a 4.5-hour trip of about 250 miles. And that trip from Virginia Beach to Baltimore will cross 4 of our 8 regions. I protested the huge size of our region to Bob Powers, the past governor who did the yeoman's work on restructuring. Bob had prepared that map, and he told me, "Jack, don't worry. The last 100 miles of your region going east has no Kiwanis clubs." Well, we talked some more, and Bob went back to his map and covered the area that's east of Lynchburg and Danville to the edge of Heart of Virginia and Hampton Roads regions. He covered that area with hash marks to indicate that it was not the part of any division or region. And I began to think of it as no man's land. While those hash marks made my own region more manageable, it also set me to thinking. I know this area pretty well, having relatives in the eastern part of it and having traveled it for several years. These are the same types of towns and communities where Kiwanis thrives in my home area. Populations may be small, but each place is identifiable and is not part of an urban sprawl. Each has its own trade area, as well as schools and sports teams around which the communities rally. What are the names of these places? Well, in the immediate Lynchburg area are the county seat of Rustburg and the growing community of Concord, both of them in Campbell County. Going east from Lynchburg on US 460, you drive through Appomattox. That's the place where Lee surrendered to Grant. And you proceed on to the college town of Farmville. Beyond it, you pass near Blackstone and the Army's Fort Pickett, and on to the county seat towns of Crewe and Nottoway. South of the Highway 460 corridor are the towns of Victoria and Cambridge. Add them up, and that's 9 places that I think could support a Kiwanis club. But we aren't finished. Let's go down to Danville, which is near the North Carolina border. U.S. Route 58, an east-west highway, runs through Danville. And if you proceed east from it, you pass near the county seat town of Halifax, and then you go through South Boston, Clarksville, South Hill, Lawrenceville, and finally Emporia, the one I mentioned is the easternmost town in that area. In the process, you cross Interstate Highways 85 and 95, and that's 6 more places for Kiwanis, or a total of 15. Finally, on the edge of this area, the eastern edge, along Interstate Route 85, is a vibrant little town called Alberta, which is telling the world now that it is blooming with several $1 million of new construction completed or underway, and is also the county seat community of Dinwiddie. Those 2 run the total to 17 places for Kiwanis clubs. Okay, but wait, you tell me. The old railroad town of Crewe, which I mentioned, has a Kiwanis Club already. It's the westernmost in the Heart of Virginia region. And my own Southwest Virginia region just organized a promising new Kiwanis Club in Farmville, a club that is preparing to form new CKI clubs at Longwood University in the town and Hampton-Sydney College 5 miles south. Okay, so we have 2 isolated clubs in this entire region and 15 other sites that I suggest should be explored as part of a major club building effort. The advantage of doing this, obviously, is that my No Man's Land could easily support an entire new Kiwanis division. However, there's a large issue looming that I suggest should be faced before we begin any more building efforts in that area. In fact, we might have done it before the Farmville Club was chartered. The issue: where in our district structure should these new clubs be placed? And this is important because it involves oversight, and our clubs, as a rule, tend to get too little of this. The new Farmville Club was formed by a group from the Lynchburg Club in Division 2. That division, you may know, has 10 clubs and about 600 members already, and was the largest in the Capital District. Division 2, frankly, doesn't need to expand into new areas. The Lieutenant Governor of Division 2 already is stretched to service 4 clubs in the Roanoke area, plus Martinsville, Danville, Bedford, and Bassett, and 2 clubs in the city of Lynchburg. Farmville, 50 miles and an hour east of Lynchburg, is going to be a burden for that Lieutenant Governor. Nor did our Southwest Virginia region, already the district's second largest in membership and largest in land area, need to expand beyond the 250 miles that it covered from east to west. That is, before the Farmville Club was chartered. The northwestern border of No Man's Land is the Heart of Virginia region around Richmond, and it might be able to embrace a new division, at least for the easternmost clubs of the area. To the south, No Man's Land borders the Hampton Roads region, which already is slightly larger than Southwest Virginia and leads the Capital District in membership. Hampton Roads also has 4 divisions and doesn't need any more. As you may have been able to tell, I have no ready answers to the issues I've raised. At the same time, when our district badly needs to grow, I don't see how we can overlook this No Man's Land with a theoretical potential of 15 new clubs and maybe a more realistic 8 to 10 clubs. Even those are large numbers. I hope our new governor and incoming board, together with the growth team, will give this careful thought and study. A general revision of regional and divisional lines around that area may be the answer, and preparing for new clubs in No Man's Land could be the incentive to get it done. Well, that's your Monday morning message from the Capital District Growth Team. I'm Jack White. Thank you for listening.